we're here. Hey, Moose Knuckles and Jude, how are you? I think that the set, I always mess with it, but the chat's fine, right?
Look. There we go.
I just want y'all to only see our backdrop. What is that thing?
Oh, you can see the ring light in the heart.
See, is it distracting?
That's cool.
Yeah, because last time I think I
Right
positioned it. I positioned it where you couldn't see it, but now you can. But that's okay. If y'all find it too distracting, let me know and we'll work on it for next time. How are y'all? Long time no see. Well, yesterday we weren't on.
2 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we weren't on yesterday because everybody was tired. And I thought it was Monday all day. And it wasn't. Hey, Mayor's daughter, how are you?
Hey, sister. What's up, sis?
So I was thinking that we were just getting the week started, and we weren't.
We weren't.
We were.
Well, we're all a day off.
Hey, Jana. Hey, Presley.
We were all off on Mondays, just about.
You actually got off too, which is unusual.
Yep. Guys, I'm wearing a Texas hat because Texas plays Alabama.
Hump Day means into my uncle's band. Hump. Oh my God. Did you see what it said?
No.
It said Hump Day meant something totally differently in my uncle's van or something like that.
We're gonna find out who that is.
I don't know. It's funny though. They have funny things to say. Hey, Christy, Karen. I saw that Patra, our little Patra Smythe account that's on Twitter, is back in action.
She's pretty funny.
She's funny. She's like, I survived my scorpion, snake, spider, because I have to take a rest. Thank you.
Yeah. She doesn't have Lyme disease.
I don't think so. I had a dream about that bullseye marking that it has because we looked it up or whatever. Because Sean has Lyme's.
I had Lyme disease. One of my daughters has had Lyme disease, so.
That's why it's incredibly
and
ironic.
really, you have a very, very, very slim chance of catching Lyme disease from a tick bite, unless you're up in the New England area. I mean, it's not impossible to get it, but it's slim.
Yeah.
I was living in Rhode Island when I got Lyme's.
And they don't like the blood of the thought.
No.
Thought blood, THOT.
It's kind of like.
It's a dead giveaway.
It's kind of like the
Viola.
vampires don't like tainted blood. You know how they say if the
didn't know
vampires like drink the blood of somebody with a disease or something, it can make them real sick or whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they live a very, very long time.
They live
Good
forever.
Good to see you, Jude.
Until you drive a stake into their heart.
But then sometimes it's not a stake. It's like different.
You just have to pierce the heart.
Well, I know when I eat too much garlic, my insides feel like they're gonna explode. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And
she's not a very good garlic eater.
So I wouldn't be. It's shrimp scampi in particular. I love it. And when we ate it in the Outer Banks, I knew. And I'm talking. It makes stomach pain so bad that it won't stop.
Yeah, we went to what was the name of that place? It was a pretty popular place that we went to.
The beast is definitely tainted. I would say so. What was it called? It was not like it wasn't
like a person's
but
name,
it wasn't
like
Dick's
Bob's
last
or something like
it
that.
wasn't Dick's Last Resort, but it was like Dick's.
It was Dick's,
Seafood or something.
yeah,
But
something like that, yeah.
I like Dick's Last Resort.
Did we eat there?
No, we haven't. But there's one I think there was one in Galveston, wasn't there? I know there's one in Myrtle.
Where did we get the seafood buffet at? What was that?
Oh, that was it. You mean in Outer Banks?
Yeah. That wasn't Dick's, was it?
No, it was called something. I think it's no, I can't. It wasn't.
I thought it was some kind of name that we would know, but.
Have y'all been to Dick's Last Resort? Has anybody ever been one? The Yeast Beast. Oh dear. Have any of you ever been to Dick's Last Resort? The whole purpose of it is you can sit in a section where it's normal, but most people go to be with. They treat you like crap. The wait staff.
That's what it is, and
the wait staff will put like a
Yeah.
paper hat on, and if you're a good sports, you let them write whatever it is on it.
So when you ask for like something more to drink, they get like, God, they're like, damn, we just filled your glass 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, and they'll go, I'll be back later, and you have to accept it. Hey, Gusta, and the thing is,
Mayor's daughter.
The thing is, you have to have a good sense of humor for it. Sean would be perfect for it. My ex was not. We didn't even go there together.
Because he would get pissed off.
Oh, as anal as he was about the wait staff being rude, it would it wouldn't be good. But I thought it was hilarious when I went to Myrtle Beach. You know what I mean? Hey Megan, I threw Sean's shirt on because it was cold.
It might be a very
And
short live.
I figured if I just wore a white tank top, that would be, it's clean and bleached.
Look,
but I thought that might be too.
My gorgeous wife with the denim shirt on, with a shirt under it. This might be a real short live.
You know, the thing is though, when we got it when we got married, right? When did I get it for you?
No, we got this here. I thought we got the denim one
for the Christmas photos.
Yeah, we got our Christmas photo. I was wearing that. We got it at the Ralph Lauren at the outlet.
And it looked so good on you. You did end up having it. It was kind of a Homer gift at first, where he was gonna wear it for the Christmas like pictures, and then I was gonna sneak it. But he looked so good in it. I'm like,
it stays on my part of the closet.
I'll let him have it. I know.
Even though we have one closet because we're not to the point where we have our own separate closets yet. We're not
but
that
huge.
But it's a big old closet, but it's all of our stuff.
I need to take a picture. This is what makes me happy, and it's not all about stuff. But Sean literally, when he got to the apartment and we were ready to move in, you've heard him, he had one duffel bag full of clothes.
I don't think I had any button-down shirts.
That's all he had. He got away with one pair of shoes and one that you bought in Cincinnati.
I bought them in Asheville.
Yeah,
actually.
that's all he had.
That pair of shoes, Mandy, I bought the day that we crossed over too. That's why you're never throwing them away, even though they're like pretty ratty now. But
no,
they stay forever.
He's very nostalgic. I've told you that. Oh, a room. I would love the Hampton Inn.
Just for shoots and giggles.
No, he just get a room, and I'm like, oh, I love the Hampton Inn.
Yeah. I mean, you guys remember our whole life was in hotels for like the first 3 months or so.
It was. I wonder. You're right. The buttons are on different sides for men, and I don't know why that is, but I did know that was true.
The buttons are on the opposite side?
Yeah, girls' buttons are over here and button like this, and guys' buttons are... It is true. That's the truth. Hey, Yoga.
Actually, our first 2 months, because our first month from May 9th to June 7th was just like texting back and forth, and then we met for the first time physically on June 2nd, and then we got our apartment on the first part of August. So it was only 2 months, really.
We were brand new to each other. We knew we wanted to be together. We knew we were in love. We just had to make it happen.
We just had this pesky thing going on with getting out of our current marriages.
That was it. Mine turned out to be fairly easy.
Hey, just a sub.
So someone asked about the fluffies. Moose Knuckles said, "How are the chickens doing? Those silkies have them fluffy feet." They do.
They do. In Brahmas, the Brahmas have fluffy feet too. We might have as many fluffy feet chickens as we do regular feet chicken.
Yeah. That's why that little black fluffy, that little black silky is like, he's obviously, because he looks like Ozzy and he's starting to grow. I don't know that we're going to name him Ozzy. He's
small, though.
He's smaller.
Tiny is big and Ozzy is tiny.
We should name him Titanic. Don't people name little things Titanic? And no, he's Ozzy, but the second I named him Ozzy, that was when the pug took him for a while. So I don't know.
We don't like it's a jinx when we name our chickens.
Yeah.
Something happens to them.
But they are so cute, especially those little silkies.
The thing about the silkies is they can't go anywhere fast.
Oh, nice, Moose Knuckle.
Like the Americanas and the Brahmas, they can fly up into trees. They can get away. Even the big brown one that we have, more of a red one. I think I was going to name her Reba, but they can move. They don't get caught easy. The silkies can't move fast.
Yeah.
They don't get anywhere fast. They get caught real easy.
Someone's asking about, I guess Miss Effin Wonderful she didn't lose her dog. What happened was, and I caught it on a clip channel. This morning she starts by saying that she woke up and her Wi-Fi wasn't working, and she was arguing with them, and she looked in her bank account, and somebody had a bill had come out before her Wi-Fi, and it didn't get paid. So she starts with this, and you know this song and dance. But then she proceeds to tell this story where she's chasing Roxy, who is, I believe he's a husky that has, and if that's the case, they get bored, they're going to bolt and run. And so he never gets exercise. He lays in she leaves him in the crate. That's the worst thing you can do with those big dogs, because when they get the chance, you know what, they bolt. So anyways,
and they'll quit listening to you too.
They will. So something happened. I won't be too graphic. Roxy's fine, but someone had to slam on the brakes to miss the dog and hit a cat, and the cat didn't make it. And apparently it took a second for the cat to pass, and she's screaming how traumatic it was, and the kids were there, and she had to scream at the lady to hit the cat to stop, and it's awful. She said, I'll never forget the sound of that. I get that. Luckily, my Silky is okay, but I do remember that sound. But what's always interesting, what did it start with? She needs her Wi-Fi paid.
Yeah.
She needs her Wi-Fi paid. And so
some people go
we all
through drastic
know.
measures to, a bill came out, but how many times do I have to text you and go, man, they took that bill out that I forgot about? It's just,
it's crazy. So
we're not going to sell our pet because of it.
She said that she had to rehome Roxy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Royal was a husky. He looks like a wolf, but a husky lab. Maybe someone will know. And then I thought Royal was a complete Siberian.
I don't know. I don't watch her as close as some of y'all have.
So she rehomed the dog, and that's probably for the best. But this is the other thing, and I'm going to get off my soapbox after I say this, because this is not my recovery channel. This is our channel.
Well, my neck's big. Go ahead.
It was this. No, it's not.
It looks big. It looks like I've got like a football player neck or something.
So it was this morning. I don't know what time it happened this morning. Husky Shepherd, that's what I thought.
Wow.
And then a Shep
that's a pretty aggressive
So
mix.
It was first thing in the morning, and she was hysterical, and she had her solo cup and was drinking. Now, let me just say, because this is what I'm going to cover on the other one. You can create, if you're trying to, well, she's not trying to be sober, she's trying to cut back. So that's two different things.
But she's not trying to cut back, though, really.
No.
I mean, she couldn't drink for a while,
when
right?
you have no tools, when you drink at it, that's the first thing you do. You have no tools to try to get through it. That's what happens. And then if you have people around you who either just inadvertently they become enablers because they say, well, that was bad. She deserves a drink. That was horrible. And so and I've always said, what deserves drinking over is if you're an alcoholic or if you have a drinking problem, you can decide that.
Yeah.
You decide what's worth drinking over. But it's not going to get any better. And I think that, she was trying to cut back, but it appears that she's once again drinking in the mornings. And
so she hasn't, the DUI
is done.
The DUI, though, the probation, the record is not her rock bottom.
Yes.
So that's what we figured. I mean, that's my takeaway is I know, like, I'm not an addict or an alcoholic, but I do understand the rock bottom. Mm-hmm. And, you don't have to be an alcoholic or an addict to have a rock bottom. It could be for any reason, for different reasons. But so my takeaway from the whole Katie situation, we watched everything that happened to her. It wasn't her rock bottom, guys. Mm-mm. It's not. Mm-mm. I mean, something else has got to happen. She's,
Misty says, when I was drinking, I had a certain wine glass. Now I put all the wine glasses and drink sparkling water and Milo. It helps. You know what? That's pretty good.
Milo is good.
I always say, Sean and I were talking about this. When someone first gets sober, I'm like, go to the store and buy, not alcohol obviously, but all the exciting things you like to drink. Some that you won't even splurge on, whether it's bottled Coke, sparkling water, the stuff that you don't worry about calories, just chocolate milk. You like chocolate milk, so that when you open your fridge, you fool for a second into being very excited because you've got a selection. You know what I mean?
But don't give it all away. This is perfect recovery stuff, though.
I know.
This is whenever she does this on our lives, because it's my turn to look at her and just be amazed. I mean, I try to imagine her in the throes of like alcoholism, and I can't. But I could imagine looking at her when she came out like sober and she had this look that she has. I try to go there, and I try to figure, and it's scary for me, to think of my wife addicted, to drugs or to, or to have the control over her. So I always fast forward to like picking her up from the hospital clean or something like that, and where she looks the way she looks now and she looks healthy. Yeah. So other than that, that's my 2 cents. But I just look at you with.
But I like that. I'm glad to know that.
It's a feeling.
I learned different
I'm
things.
just very grateful that she survived. You know.
It's it was a big, huge, especially when I finally allowed myself to go inpatient to get off alcohol. There are things that, you know, it's dangerous. And I was drinking pretty much, you know, all day long at that point. So to be safe, you have to pretty much, and I wanted to. I was ready to do the next thing because nothing else had been working. But that was nice of you to say.
Well, I mean, it's the truth.
I know it's the truth, but it's nice.
I mean,
to
people
hear.
always say things like, "Look at how she looks at him," and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's just chick digs me," you know. But sometimes I catch myself looking at you that way too, because pretty amazing.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to do more of that. The first thing I'm going to do, I think the first topic on the channel, I'm going to title it "Interventions, Do They Work?" And just give my 2 cents on it. And I won't share that here because you'll have to watch it. But that I have a few topics written down that I want to talk about. So
I see the chat rolling. I can't really see it from here, but
I'll let you see it. Misty says, and you don't
I'm gonna have
realize
to
how
take my contacts out.
lousy you're feeling until you get sober. Yes. I was talking to Sean about that the other day. You don't realize that you're always hungover. You feel like, okay,
Hey, Brand Michelle.
you know what a bad hangover is, but you know, you don't realize because it's just become your normal that you're hungover most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, most of the time.
I try to relate. I mean, I've done drugs. You know, when I saw that Negs was doing whatever, I know that the fungus, you know, that you can consume. I get it. I've done LSD and things like that. I remember when I quit smoking cigarettes, and you know, I know it's hard for a lot of people to stop smoking cigarettes. I was able to. You know, it wasn't something like I felt some, you know, cravings, but it wasn't overwhelming for me, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I had a hard time with the Tramadol. I think it's just different things for different people.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to have gabapentin to wean me off Tramadol. And Tramadol, I didn't even take Tramadol to get high.
Yeah.
You know.
I got a high score on my A&P exam today, 98 out of 100. Go you. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's very awesome.
What is that, like for nursing school or something?
I don't know what.
What is it? What is it for? The exam?
Nurse practitioner. Is it
Yeah,
nurse
it is,
practitioner? Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Tam Tam's son, Scotty, it seems like he's gotten off to his.
Yeah, we'll spend a couple minutes talking about
I don't
that.
want to jinx it, but is the sound okay? Yes. Karen was the same one when she decided she wanted to get off Tramadol, and she was feeling lousy because she didn't know. And I said, "Oh no, you're feeling what you're supposed. It's harder. Yeah. It's the hardest withdrawal I've ever seen in rehab. Like it was bad."
That was empowering for me to hear because I knew I needed help. And when
aircraft mechanic.
when I was on what is it, nurse practitioner?
No, airline mechanic.
What?
Isn't that cool?
That is good. There's good money in that too.
Very
good
cool.
Union, good everything.
That's very cool.
When I was mad when I figured out that I was addicted to Tramadol, and because I wasn't using it to get high, but I would get sick if I didn't take it, and I went to the doctor and I was embarrassed because I felt like it's just Tramadol, you know, it's not, you know, opioids or anything like that, and so, but from what I hear, I'm not alone.
No, you're not. I was going to ask, is the sound okay? But his keyboard still doesn't type right. But is it okay? Because it is the microphone, but I tweaked it to where it shouldn't crackle.
Yeah, you just gotta do it like this, I think.
Tell me if it's the same, better, or worse than last time. Hey, Whiplash. You can't get high on. Yeah, you can't. If you're they for a while, and I think they still are. Both of my kids, when they had their wisdom teeth removed, they did Tramadol. Used to, it was standard was hydrocodone. That's what they used to standardly give teenage. Good job.
Good job.
They standardly try to do Tramadol. Used to was Vicodin. You remember, you guys, like when I was young, I got my wisdom teeth removed. The go-to was Vicodin.
We were watching I want to talk about Tam Tam a little bit, but
Our heart's buffering. That's kind of cute.
It's
While
what?
it's doing that, it looks like our heart's buffering.
Oh.
That's cute. You get it?
Oh, like the spinning?
Yeah, that's kind of cute. I like that.
That is cool.
Where's Let It Go? Is she here?
Are you in here? Let it go.
Someone else must be live.
Yeah.
I won't put this up. I left it down for a second. Now it's driving me crazy.
What was I gonna say? We were watching last night because we're not big cable watchers, but we finally got the TV set up in the bedroom, and it's a special TV because it was the same TV that we had in Texas in our bedroom. Y'all remember the one there? So I pulled it out, and when you take it flat screen and you put it in a box and you try to take care of it, but it goes across the country and it sits somewhere for a couple of years, you pray that it works. Well, it did. It worked okay. So we were sitting there kind of snuggling with the big TV in our room for the first time in however long, and we were watching the story and it was called What Really Killed Michael Jackson. You remember? You were in and out of sleep.
No, I saw it till the end.
Yeah.
It was like you said, Who Killed Conrad
Who
Murray
Really
was
Killed
on
Michael
there.
Jackson. It was called Who Really
Debbie
Killed.
Rowe, Baby Mama was on there. She looked, I can't even.
Yeah, it was crazy.
She did not age well. But it was interesting to see he was going to his dermatologist every day and getting shot up with Demerol. Then at night he was withdrawing.
Arnie or Artie Klein. He was the celebrity dermatologist in Hollywood, and he was supplying several celebrities with drugs.
Is it cracking, you guys? Let me know. Go ahead.
On and off. What they say? What's on and off? The sound?
The sound. I mentioned it. I shouldn't have. Let me know if it's still crackling.
Is it still crackly?
I can. She's here. Oh, she's hurting today. I'm sorry. Let it go. Okay. Well, let us know.
Karen will let us know. And let it go is like the.
That's why I was like, let it go. You
yeah,
always let
she's
us
like
know.
the live stream freaking Gestapo when it comes to
So he was getting Demerol injected all day by
You said
Klein.
it's better than last time though.
Okay,
so that's
good.
You're buffering. That's what Presley says. We're buffering, or is Presley buffering?
And she might think that's our buffering heart.
Yeah, right there.
I don't know. Let me know.
On
Sounds
and off,
good.
crackling. Yeah.
Is that better?
What about now? How's that?
That's where he met the baby. Yeah, that's what they said.
Right.
And she was cute, and then Sean and I kind of got into the conversation of, did he ever have a normal relationship? Like with Lisa Marie, she goes, yeah, we have a normal, was he ever normal?
That's better, they said.
Okay. So I don't know,
Microphone be gone.
I know, I'm like, well, I guess it's not going to work. Maybe it will for vlogs or something. But I always wondered, I knew he got propofol to sleep.
Well, the whole thing is Michael Jackson died, right? When he passed away, was it 2009?
Something like that, yeah.
And when that happened, immediately, they needed something. They needed to get somebody. So it was Conrad Murray, Dr. Murray, who, went on the stand, went through the ringer for the propofol and not being attentive to him. The opinion was it's not even about that. It's about why was he on propofol and this and that. So Karen's like, he did Michael Jackson. I meant what year? And thanks. But then what this was about was the extent of his addiction on many kinds of drugs. Like he would go to the doctor for a routine, that most people would go to the doctor or the dermatologist and not even be given anything for the procedure, and he would be given massive amounts of Demerol. So he would just go for his Demerol fix. He was addicted to Demerol. Now I don't know too much about Demerol, but that it's pretty much an inpatient drug.
I looked it up last night. It's only injectable.
Right.
So that's why I'm sure he had to do it at his office, and they didn't give him the syringe. Although then someone said they did give it to him to take home. But what I was immediately struck with was, I said, okay, they can shoot him up all day long. Well, you got about 4 hours before you start to withdraw.
Right. And they said it was a daily thing.
So he would take propofol to sleep, and then the next day go right back.
One of the side effects of Demerol is insomnia.
Yeah.
Dr. Drew was on there. He said Demerol always causes insomnia. Now, the Demerol, when people are under the influence of Demerol, 9 times out of 10, 95 times out of 100, they're in an inpatient, state.
It's usually for just after surgery, right?
Or, pain relief after surgery.
That's what I mean. So that would be why he had it at his office. And
then what inevitably happens is the person doesn't sleep well that night. They're in the hospital still, usually. So that's where the propofol came in.
And the doctor was a creep, Klein.
Yeah, he was pretty creepy
dude. He was
a
creep. Like, some people might, if you haven't seen it, it came on, what channel last night?
It was on Fox.
It's on Fox,
it was
so
like
you can
Fox,
probably rewatch it.
Because then we saw the really corny news, the 10 o'clock news afterwards.
Do any of y'all still watch the local news? I know the internet and national news and all of that. Used to, man, you had to be on your game. The girls had to look a certain way. The guys had to look a certain way. And this isn't like judging looks in particular, but there was one girl, I mean, it is kind of, but what would you say she looked like?
Her name was Denise Dylan, and she was one of the, like, on-location reporters for Fox 5 in Atlanta, and she looked not good.
Not put together.
Not good. Like, she looked like she was probably in her 60s, and she looked like she worked out a lot, but she was wearing a sleeveless shirt, and she had these huge veins just coming, I mean...
Like
and not like bodybuilding, like thin, skinny, but with huge veins that were almost as big as her arm.
So we kind of just pondered it, like, that's not fun to look at. You don't even listen to what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I never died when I had my cardiac surgery, and they told me that's what killed Michael Jackson. Yeah, the propofol did kill him. Yeah.
But the whole point of it is that's what the whole world focused on. Mm-hmm. And anyway, it was about a 2.5 hour deal, and it showed like AEG was the entertainment company that was trying to push that last tour, and how it was obvious that he was, not mentally or psychologically there, nor, he was on drugs, and how they pushed him, much like they did Elvis. They were pushing Michael Jackson to perform, and he needed rehab. And so, and then there was 3 or 4 different doctors that he was going to. He had like 14 different aliases and all these pharmacies. And so and TMZ did it. That's who did it. It was TMZ that did it. It was to show that while Conrad Murray had a slice of culpability, he wasn't even mostly culpable for, not even a quarter culpable for Michael Jackson's death.
But do you really believe he didn't know that he went and did those shots?
I don't believe that. I think that he had he knew a lot more about what was happening with Michael Jackson, but he was also scapegoated.
Okay.
He was scapegoated. He was the guy that
but look at this.
The whole world wanted, answers for why Michael Jackson has died, and the last person with him that was administering, deadly drugs to him was Conrad Murray.
Look, he's falling asleep.
So
he's falling asleep. I didn't mean to distract you, but look at him. He's like, I'm so tired.
He's so busy all day. So busy all day.
He says, I'm a chicken farmer.
He said, you took me out, Dad. I peed and pooped. Now it's time to go to bed.
He's so cute. Anyways, we're kind of in love with her. He did lose he did some jail time, and he lost his license.
In this interview, because he was one of the people being interviewed, but they were interviewing Arne Klein too, and Arne Klein passed away in 2015. So,
but the other thing is,
Conrad Murray, I think it was pretty recent.
Well, he was saying he loved Michael Jackson and whatever, and I get that, and he was saying there is never an excuse for administering propofol to sleep at a residence.
Yeah, it's just not what you do.
He said and I didn't know all of that aside, you didn't know he was on Demerol, you didn't know, although he had so many abscesses on his hip that you couldn't even get a needle through it.
They said Michael Jackson, when he died, had so many track marks all over his body.
Abscessed ones.
Yeah.
That would have, it was.
And that he was going so frequently, and they spent half the time trying to get a vein, trying to get the IV in. It was I didn't plan on watching it, but it was one thing. They were like, well, I'll watch the next segment.
And watch the next segment. Look at what for a long time, they've said this is what the industry does to these people. Mm-hmm. Johnny Cash, Prince, Elvis.
They had a list of
Michael
people
Jackson.
In that time frame that had passed.
Yeah.
Tom Petty, they said when he passed away, it was because what's the Brittany Murphy? They had like 5 of them that they showed that were like in the same area of LA and that died from pretty much the same type of.
Well, and that's
the
why-
toxicology reports were similar.
Exactly. And that's why these teenage actors end up getting on drugs, because they're given things, or they were,
River
to help
Phoenix.
them perform better, to help them stay awake, to help them. And so there's always the argument, does as an audience and fans, do we create this demand for more and more of the person until they just can't do it? Well, I mean, all you gotta, I don't know if we do or not, but we certainly don't say, at the expense of, using opioids and propofol to sleep. I don't think that we can cause that.
Yeah, it also was, one of the things that they were driving home is 2 things. Dr. Drew was saying that there's doctors there that whenever in any setting you get gratification, he said there's a difference between gratification and doing your job and being happy with your job. There's a difference between it being fulfilling to be a doctor, but when you're doing things for excitement,
consider them a friend.
Yeah, but when you get gratification by when you start enabling it, and that was a huge problem, that where you have celebrities that can go to any doctor and it was one little part of LA too, and they even had the pharmacy that was in the basement of Arnie Klein's office.
Yeah,
It was what it did is here it is 13 years later, 12 or 13 years later, that this wasn't just Conrad Murray negligent and didn't watch him and didn't monitor his vital signs. They said it was a whole thing that led up to it, and that he was dying. He needed rehab.
Yeah,
he needed to, because Conrad Murray had said, I had literally weaned him off of the propofol 3 days ago, and that Michael Jackson, that's what he said at the end, and that Michael Jackson took the propofol and gave it to himself.
Oh, really?
While he was out, yeah.
That makes sense. Do you think? Here, I'll take it.
I think that, Conrad Murray's got culpability, but he didn't kill Michael Jackson. That was the whole point, is he did not kill Michael Jackson.
Well, that's all very, very sad. No, it is sad, but that's not. I don't want to change gears and then be like talking about our chickens or whatever on the tail end of something like that. Yeah, Conrad took the fall for all of it.
That's right, and I think that was the whole point.
And even Debbie Rowe said that. Debbie Rowe, who had worked in the Dr. Klein's office, had said that I believe Dr. Klein died in 2000 and what? What's wrong?
He's whining it to the chickens.
See? Sawyer watches our chickens.
Yeah, I'm making sure he was just whining.
See? Oh, homemade pizza. Dane Presley, you always make like the really, really yummy stuff. The southern food, the pizza. What did I make today? Oh, we had leftover. Well, we had meatloaf last night. And then today it was going to be leftovers. And so I sent Sean a text, and I was at McDonald's getting my tea, and I said, I call it a sack of slop. There are little deals that they have where you get like 2 cheeseburgers, this, that, whatever for $20. It's a sack of slop. That's what I call it. I said, would you rather have the leftover meatloaf or let's do a sack of slop? And he was like, let's do a sack of slop. I thought that was really, really funny. He says he loves my meatloaf, but then he said that he would rather have a sack of slop from McDonald's, but that's okay. The other thing that we were talking about, so the TV yesterday, when we were trying to get it set up or whatever, and we were being careful before it got on the thing, but once it got on its feet and got onto the TV stand, is everything okay?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, because as I walked out there, they were the last couple of.
Well, he saw something. So
they're accounted for, though.
So there was a great big fly that was landing on the TV. You'll love this. And I got a T-shirt. And it was sturdy. It was on, the legs were sturdy, but I was going to, and I was trying to catch this fly, and I did it a couple of times. And then I was like, how is it still alive or whatever? And then I hit it, and it was near the ground. And Sean was like, I said, oh my, I don't want to break this TV. And I was like, but if I do, I'm going to be like, hey, everybody, I broke a TV. Beast. I broke the TV.
We'll be e-begging for TV money.
It's like we finally have the second broken TV. You know what I mean? But we finally got it. We don't have as many flies in the house as we should with chickens, but we use those death bags.
I know.
They're starting to smell already. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they're pretty new, right?
Yeah, they're new. I'm trying to get my foot out from under.
I told Mandi I'm gonna go around and get all the Jaru spiders and just knock them all down and then put them all in like a little thing and then just open it up. The chickens will love the spiders.
Yeah.
And when they go running around, the chickens will just feast.
And the thing was, if we put a couple of their roosts even higher where the webs are, they'd get them themselves.
Yeah, they would.
That's a good idea. We should consider doing that for next year.
Presley said, "How was Sean's feet?"
I fixed it. Tell him how good I did.
Yes. I don't want to. I was just outside in bare feet, but it's they're pretty good. So what she did is like on the third night, she went in there and she manicured the part that was sticking up and then pulled out the cuticle that was growing in.
Well, it was an ingrown. I looked at it because I knew, I was like, if it's still that sore, it can't just be from the initial injury. So I looked and I said, oh, right here. And I'm not no doctor or anything. It was, and I said, so
you're not going to change your name to ATX RN or something like that, or
so I was like,
CP.
It's growing into the side, and he's like, well, no, and I was like, no, Sean, it's not going to get any better. As a matter of fact, it's going to end up getting infected. And it's going to hurt worse. So he was like, well, if it does, I'll go to the doctor. And I was like, Sean, it's going to take like 2 seconds. And he was like, okay. So I got those good clippers and clipped it and pulled it out of the side, not the whole nail, just the side. And then he was like, that feels a lot better. And I was like, those are one of those things that immediately feels better. Like passing a bladder stone immediately feels better.
It felt better.
And now it's fine. He's proud to report.
Yeah, my foot is better. Thank you, Presley, for asking. I mean, but Presley, the Braves are tied with the Mets for first place now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I've got the coolest wife. So she goes and heads to the store last night at whatever time it was. The Braves are playing on the West Coast. They're playing the A's. And I forgot about that. And so, even though it was the middle of the night, it's in the middle of the game. She's got the game on the radio. She's giving me a,
it was 10:30, but yeah.
But still, I mean, that's they were playing in Oakland. So,
so they were pretty far behind.
Yeah, it was like 7:30 there. But anyway, so the Braves are tied for first with the Mets. So anyway, after the Michael Jackson thing, Jude's like, let's go Mets. All right, so blocker. No, I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine?
What is it about the Mets, though, since you're a Mets fan? They always seem to fold in September. The last couple of years, they've been pretty good, and then towards the fall, both teams have done that. The Yankees have done it too. They're good all year, and then in September they kind of fade. Yeah, I don't know. And the Braves are the opposite. They come out of the gate kind of not so good, but by about July, they're playing really well. So anyway, I don't know why.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. I hear him. He must be playing with Scout.
I think they're back there, aren't they?
I think he's playing with Scout. When Scout wants to play rough, Sawyer's like, okay. And they play rough. The other, you want to talk about Tam Tam's son or no?
Yeah, just real quick before we do that.
Mainly her reaction.
So we watched the local news after this thing about Michael Jackson, and it's like, oh my God, local news is, I don't know why it still exists.
And it must have been a slow day.
It wasn't.
Oh, tell them about the steel beams.
Yeah, so we're watching, and so they have this one investigative reporter, and so what happened was in some county they were tearing down a bridge. So when you tear the old bridge apart, before you could build a new one, you've got to find somewhere to put the old equipment.
Okay, Presley.
And
bye, thank you.
Thanks, Presley. So there was what had happened was all the old steel and girders and stuff that was still good steel. I mean, it ended up on some. It was not a senator.
It was
like
it was the senator's property.
On his property. So this local reporter, kind of goes to where these politicians are meeting and starts to interview him. So why, and it was like grilling this senator.
And his name is Randy Travis.
Yeah, the reporter's name is Randy Travis. Why are these steel, beams on your property? And the senator was like, because I'm going to use them. But you're going to make something for your own, shouldn't they go to some community project or a city project? And the senator was like, I don't know, but they needed to
And
get
they
rid
said-
of him, and I
he
decided
said,
I'd take him.
Why did you take him? He's like, I guess I was the first one to ask.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. He said he was pretty honest. He says he wants to build a shop with it, like on his property, like something. The steel itself, they estimated it about $31,000
Worth of steel, which is a lot of steel.
He's not interested in the money. He's
Yeah.
interested in building with it.
So they were
But
making
this
exactly.
reporter was a total dick.
So you think that you're, like when a reporter corners a politician and catches them in a lie or some scandal, and the senator was kind of like, "Where's the scandal? I mean, where did you, I have it. I'm not hiding it, and I
You can't
intend to
hide
use
it. It's right there.
And you show me if it's wrong for me to do it, and I won't."
Yeah.
It was bad,
It was-
even the other reporters were kind of like, "That's it."
But I think it's because we haven't watched. I think that is like we haven't watched local news in so long.
I think that's what local news does. I think a staple of local news is to be like investigative.
What was the other thing they did? And you're like, God, it's got to be a slow news night.
The
fight at the mall.
Yes.
A couple of groups of teenagers got into a fight at the mall, and this made the news. And they were, and I was like, they were like, and it was
grainy. You
they were
couldn't
like,
even see the fight.
It was 10 on 10 and whatever. Like kids have been fighting at the mall for years.
Nobody flew over the side. No
Nobody
gunfire.
shot.
I was waiting for someone to fly off the balcony. None of that.
And they were like, talk to your children about and I was like, kids have
That
been
made the
fighting
news.
at the mall, and it's kind of old school. When you meet me at the mall and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get into it. So we were like, slow news night.
There was nothing to report.
Nothing, which may be good or may be bad.
Tam Tam.
Yeah. Tam Tam's son is off. I figured out he flew out of Jackson. I don't know which post he's going to, but he flew out of the airport in Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi, yeah. I thought you said he was going to be infantry.
That's what I had originally
And he's going
thought.
then he'll be at Fort Benning.
So it was a histrionic. There was a Mandi Curley in her chat. That is not me. Someone was in there. That one has been gone around. And the avatar picture of it is not, I don't even know where it came from. Like, it's me, obviously, but I have no clue where it came from. And it's actually not a bad picture. But yeah, so.
Well, what the whole point of this, bringing it up, is that Tam Tam is dropping her son off, and he's leaving for the army, and she's in tears.
Yeah.
And that part of it, we both feel it was genuine. Whether you like her or don't like her, sending your son off to join the military is something that is
right.
I mean, it got to you, right?
Right.
When your son went on. And I just thought it was worth mentioning that, like her or hate her, I would stand with her watching her son go.
Yeah,
I would do that.
She even went out to the once he was taxiing, she went out to the little bridges and stuff outside where you can see him.
Mm-hmm.
She watched him till he taxied and he flew off. And so part of me is like, no, I totally understand what she's going through. But what she doesn't, I was just sharing it, even though we've already been on for a while. What I didn't know, and it was probably good I didn't know, is you will get a notification that they've arrived and they're at basic training. I don't even think, they can make the call and say that they made it or whatever. And this might be because my son was infantry. They could not make another phone call home for 5 weeks.
And
then when they did make the phone call home, they were reading something. So he was like, it's good because they try to get him where they don't want him to wash out. And if they call home and mom's having a breakdown or whatever, they may wash out of basic.
Yeah.
So they want to take your home troubles and then when I got the phone call, it was like, Mother, this is PFC troop. And he was like, I'm made it to da-da-da-da, and this, he was reading it, and I'm sitting there, and I realized that he's reading it, so I'm crying, and I'm like, I love you, I know you have to read this, but I love you, and da-da-da-da. And so I was like, I was that mother.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't want him to cry, because it was whatever. And with all the sobbing and all of that stuff, they don't get there you go. During all of her, like, histrionics and stuff like that, it's like, I do agree with, Randy had a really good point. They got enough going on. You hold that together, until you say goodbye. They don't need to worry about that. So
That's kinda true.
You love them, but you hold it together. Now when they go, like,
Who said that?
I said that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh no, they said that because Tam Tam was like, my son, I love
But who
it.
said that? Randy? You
Yeah,
said?
Randy
Yeah,
said
I guess so.
She made it all about her, and I get that. But as far as the footage of him leaving and getting ready to go and the things that he said, he's like, Mom, I'll be back by Christmas, all of that. I mean, I can't help but cry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So there's a real human being in there somewhere. Tam
Yeah.
Tam.
I don't know what
Love it.
she's going to do. Yes, exactly. The gold star. But that, I think that this is the best thing that he can do. And he worked for it. He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
He got himself ready and
that's
and
what I've
he's
heard
going.
you guys say that he
got
did
it
lose
together.
weight.
And it's his best opportunity. He wasn't really feeling the college thing, and for his, whatever people believe, he doesn't have his lot in life shouldn't be to stay in that trailer and watch his mother and
No.
stepfather. He is
Yep.
not a babysitter. He is a grown man.
Or he may put himself in a better position to take
Right.
care of them later. Mm-hmm. So
He is a full grown man, and he doesn't need to be staying in Raymond, Mississippi to take care of them. And that people can think that sounds harsh or not, but that's the reality of it. He deserves a life, whatever that looks like for him.
yes,
You know what I mean?
I do.
So that was kind of the takeaway from that. But there's a little history on it. I'm not even positive he knew that she was streaming once they got to the airport. You know what I mean? She was lucky. They gave not a boarding pass, maybe it was like a boarding pass to William and to Tam Tam so that they could literally go all the way to the gate with him. I couldn't even do that.
No.
I wasn't even allowed to do that. We had to literally, like...
But I mean, you went as far, like, when I went to basic training, and this is a lot, I mean, it was years ago, 1988, I basically, I was living in Valdosta. So I didn't even say bye to well, basic training was different. That's when I went to Germany, I was in Valdosta. When I went to basic training, I just kind of went to the hotel and that was it.
Yeah.
My parents didn't take me to the airport. My recruiter took me to the airport. Like I went to MEPS.
See, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think we met at the recruiter's office and he went from there. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of.
I'll see you, Karen. I know everybody's taking off. We are too here pretty quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was different. It was different than it was back then. So.
Yeah. They probably could still hit you back then, couldn't they?
I had a drill sergeant that was very short, or I'm very tall. And he would look at my chest, and he would do his head, and his brown round would just hit me in the nose the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
So he knew about what height someone needed to be.
Yeah, I wasn't his first victim.
He figured that out very, very clearly. Yeah, no, I think that's cool. The chickens went to bed. Did you close them in?
Yep, they closed.
You closed them in?
Well, they were all up in there.
Good.
And it's funny because when the chickens first go to bed, they're all they're just talking and chatting with each other, and they're trying to. I reached in there and the corner where they sleep, I just changed the hay out there.
Yeah, we need
real
to
quick,
change
the
that
wheat
hay.
straw.
I might do that tomorrow.
But
our tiny he's starting to really heal and he's becoming a rooster.
Yeah,
if he
he's
decides I will put their bowls out and they'll be eating it and eating it and eating it, and he'll strut over there and he makes this noise, not a screechy noise or anything like that. He makes this certain noise and they leave the bowl. And then
every once in a while he'll peck one.
Yeah,
of them.
the black
every
one
once in a while.
But then he'll make his way to the next bowl and he'll make this noise and they'll go back to
the only problem I have with it, he's kind of prevents any of them from eating when he eats.
Mm-hmm. But then once he finishes, he allows them to have what's left.
But
I think that's what a rooster's supposed to do. He's a pimp.
He pecked that Brahma pretty good.
He did. His name is Tiny Pimp.
Tiny Pimp.
Pimp Tiny.
A pimp named Tiny.
Yeah, but I'm glad he's got a personality for sure. And the little black rooster, the Silky, he's gotten him enough times that he knows. But the Silky's just not very smart. So the Silky will walk around and then he'll see that the rooster's eating and he's like, oh, and then he'll go the other direction. But then he turns around and goes back and I'm like, no, the rooster's still eating. It was so cute though.
Let's see.
What game is on tonight?
Tonight is there I'm wondering if there's a Thursday night football game tomorrow. If I go in there right now, there'll be some college game on or something.
He's so cute when he plays. Yeah, that's I like to do that. When are you gonna move your video game to that one? Or are you gonna keep it on the small one?
I can move it.
Let me tell you this, Beast, you're gonna love this. Okay, lean in. Not only does he have his big TV in the thing where he can watch sports, he's got his little TV to play video games. So,
Mandi has told Mr. Curly we're not going to have like 2 or 3 TVs.
But right now, that's the way it goes, and I'm totally, fantastically okay with it. I actually took a picture. He can play his video games and watch sports all day long. I just lay on his chest. It doesn't have to be that difficult.
Yeah, that's pretty intimate. When you can just lay.
If Sawyer lets me.
Yeah, Sawyer tries to get in between. He's the big, I call it the C block, but I just toss him off the bed if we have to get to it.
He got one of our couch pillows, and I don't know when he got it.
It's down off the bed, you mean?
He got the couch pillow, must have fallen on the floor or something. He ripped not the padding one, the 2 throw ones. He opened it and started pulling the stuffing out. But I can fix it. He didn't do it for that long. But when would he have done it that we weren't? That took a while to do that.
Sawyer Brown.
He doesn't care anyway. Look at him.
You want to say bye to everybody?
He's got a piece of stuffing in his mouth right now.
He's always got something hanging out of his mouth.
You want to come say bye? Come here.
Come here. Come here.
He's like, but I'm playing with Scout.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
He'll come say goodbye.
Come here. Come here.
I do think this one is... No, he's not going to.
I'm going to get him.
He knows we want him, so he's... They were playing earlier, and I'm surprised he's still playing, because I think the stuffing is off his...
Sawyer Brown.
Say hi, Sawyer.
He's rambunctious.
He's all wound up right now. Say hi, Sawyer. Let me see Sawyer Brown. Look at him. He's like, I'm gonna show. Yeah, he's not having it right now. He's like, I was playing with Scout.
Very rambunctious. Now I tried to go to sleep. And
Scout's like, where is he? I was playing with him. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We're getting better at getting on a routine.
Yeah, hopefully we can do this more often.
I might bust out a recovery video later today before I take my
You guys that follow Mandi on Twitter, y'all follow each other.
Night, y'all.
Remind her to do the recovery. We got to remind her to get it going because I think it'll be pretty good.
Thank you. I hope so. And they're my opinions, and that doesn't mean it's just my experience and my opinions. But people seem to have liked it when I did it, and that means a lot to me, so I would love to do it again. Try it again. You ready?
I'm ready.
We'll talk to you guys later. Have a
See you guys.
Fantastic night.
Bye.
Bye. I miss your... Oh, it's going to be like that, but it's going to be sitting down.